Yo, yo, what's up, Operation Despot family?
ODP.
Episode 5 starts now.
Does it?
We're starting.
Oh, let's do it.
So, this is what we got for you guys. So, we're going to start off today. There's been a lot of things that have kind of gone on in the last week, both nationally as well as locally.
Yeah.
We want to just kind of touch on these points with you guys and, of course, give your input / output. And we're just going to have a conversation.
Yeah. We have two crappy things that happen locally.
Yes.
And then the last thing was a tragedy. However, great policing came into effect towards the end. So we need to highlight that.
Oh yeah, that'll definitely be highlighted.
Yeah.
So with that said, Noah, where are we starting?
Dude, Ada County is where we're starting.
Oh, dude. All right, tell the people what they want to hear.
Okay. All right. So we have these two, amazing people. No, they're horrible. The Buthmans. I mean, I really don't care about their names, Gwen and Byron. You two are horrible people.
Yep.
For lack of better words. Why might you ask? Well, they abused a young child from the ages of 3 to 5. And you might say, well, okay, well, what's your definition of abuse? Well, this child was malnourished to the point of having a heart attack at the age of 5.
That is terrible.
Yeah. So this child actually testified in court that, let me just read you some remarks here. The defendants gave her cold baths, only let her consume a vegetable powder substance as her source of food.
Great parenting.
Isolated her from siblings, made her sleep in a laundry room without bedding. And then she went as far to say, in court, 5 years old, bro, that she was having to eat toilet paper when she was locked in the bathroom because of how hungry she was.
God, that is just sad.
So immediately you're like, these guys are gone, right?
Right.
They're gone.
Yep.
No.
What do you mean no?
No. What did Judge Darla Williamson do? Let me see your wrist really quick.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
What?
Yeah. 4 years probation.
What?
Withheld judgment.
Dude.
What does withheld judgment mean?
Well, withheld judgment means pretty much like it's a, hey, we recognize that you did a bad thing, but just stay out of trouble.
And we'll make it go away.
And it'll just kind of go away. And
after the 4 years.
You can go on about your business and your life and hurting children or doing whatever that these monsters do. Because, I mean, in my eyes, I mean, anyone that does anything like that, especially like manipulation of a child, physical punishment to that degree, to where you're putting your kid into cardiac arrest, you don't deserve to be walking amongst, the people or out in the public with just no punishment. Like, come on.
Yeah. So she had no remarks. The judge had no remarks. I can't imagine why.
Yeah,
but
weird.
there are. I had to search for relatively similar cases, and in December 13th of just last year, which again is only a few months ago, I have a case from Shoshone County, and I'm not going to get too much into the details about it because it's the same charge, felony injury to a child, which I'm going to go over. This is Judge Duggan's response to sentencing in this case.
And this is the Shoshone incident.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. This is not Ada County. There was no comments on the Ada County one. However, this is from Shoshone very recently, a few months ago. Same charge. Okay. What I can relay to this court is the importance of this court's sentence in assuring that there is not another minor child who falls victim to the defendant's act of aggression in the future. Agreed. When we look at the goals of sentencing, protection of society being paramount and supported by other goals, which in this case, specific deterrence and rehabilitation are of particular importance, which I get, we see that a lengthy period of incarceration is appropriate, but a period of indeterminate time is also necessary to ensure that there are safeguards and supervisions in place for the defendant if and when the time comes for him to re-enter society. So again, this was a separate case. However,
that's the correct response.
That sets a precedence, man. That's how this should have been handled.
Right.
I'm going to key in right here on the lengthy sentencing specific to deterrence.
Yeah.
Not, let me just go ahead and give you 4 years probation, which, you'll be off of it goes by quick.
Yeah.
I mean, you can live your life relatively hassle-free as long as you're doing what you're supposed to be and not beating children.
Yeah.
And then after your 4 years, if you're good, then we'll just make sure it didn't happen.
Right.
BS. Absolutely unacceptable, in my opinion.
Especially coming from Ada County, like that's very surprising to me because I feel like personally, and 12 years of being a cop here, Ada County has, taken some very harsh cases and done great things with the people that have committed them, with the monsters.
Absolutely.
But someone missed the boat.
Yeah. So and we talked about how how justice isn't served when the cops are done. You know what I mean? When you're at jail. So now we're talking about this extension. Justice was not served on this date. Luckily, the child is still alive.
Yeah, thank God. I mean, that could have easily been a child homicide.
Easily, and it just got written off. And might I add, I saw this story and I continued to roll through Facebook after reading it, extremely heated, right?
Yeah.
And then I see, like Caldwell Police Department, Canyon County, Ada County, Nampa, they're doing the superhero walk. They're doing the Pinwheels for Prevention because it's Child Abuse Prevention Month.
Mm-hmm.
So
maybe maybe that judge needs to come take a walk. Maybe do some community service,
So there you go. Judge Williamson, I think you should probably plant a pinwheel in this child's name because justice was not served.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
4 years probation. Jeez.
Withheld judgment.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
The next person we wanted to talk about is bad. However, this judge nailed it.
Slayed it.
Ethan Almaraz. No, the sentencing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll get into.
I feel like this is a big one,
Yeah. So we got to bring this up for you guys. Give me 1 sec.
Oh, yeah.
So this is due process of a killer. And what is that, you might add? I got a lot going on, guys. I do apologize.
No, you're good, man. While you're doing that, I'll talk about this case. So I actually have decent knowledge of this case entirely because I was working while this was going on.
Right.
My unit was, a part of this. In cases like this as well, it's not just one unit in particular. It's persons crimes, it's property crimes, it's street crime. Gang unit, whatever. And in this particular case, this individual, Ethan Almaraz, he was, a gang member, and this was a gang crime. He shot and killed another person. And going through this whole case to me was eye-opening to a lot of people.
Yeah.
I can tell you in weeks and months leading up to this, and these guys can see this right now, right?
Yeah.
So, October 30th there, it says Mr. Almaraz commits stabbing at Valley View Academy.
At a school.
Yes, that's a school here. Okay.
Gang related.
Right. And then we fast forward to, mind you, the dates as well. 2020. 2021, March 4th, He's a suspect in an armed robbery at a gas station, which I, again, happened to be working and was responsible for. And March 25th,
21 days later,
turns himself in on a warrant for 2 counts of ag battery from the stabbing that happened on October 30th.
Yeah.
Now, what's crazy to me
is what happens on March 26th.
Yes, is what happens on March 26th. The very next day, look at this. Released from the detention center for a dentist appointment. Removes his GPS and
never
vanishes.
Returns. Never would have guessed that.
Weird.
Yeah. Never would have guessed that. So let's just reiterate. He turned himself in for robbery, right?
Yes.
At a gas station. Not a victimless crime. That is a crime with a victim. It was, again, gang related, and he turns himself in 21 days later, which I guess he can get the pat on the back for that.
Yeah.
But the next day,
bounces.
Juvenile justice system says he's not an issue to the public at all.
Right. That's wrong.
Yeah, because then what happened?
Well, and then he's arrested on a warrant for aggravated battery from the stabbing.
Yeah.
Pleads guilty. September 2nd, judge
Oh.
releases him again on supervised probation with another GPS, but he fails to report to his PO.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
September 17, 2021. This is when the shooting happens. Shot and killed Jose Hernandez and seriously injured Axel Salceda.
Mm-hmm.
I was working that night.
Mm-hmm.
It was a chaotic scene.
Yeah. I was on vacation that night.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you missed out because, man, you want to talk about running everywhere.
Yeah.
And I've been on quite a few stabbings and shootings.
Right.
You know, where it's people kind of get a little, it kind of start to get to that black a little bit, you know, like the cops coming in, some of them.
Yeah.
Because there's just a lot going on.
Yeah.
You know, the radio's going crazy.
Oh, yeah.
There's supervisors that are trying to bark orders and people go here and there. And
and there's more
and
than one
two.
scene.
Right. It's always more than one scene.
Always.
I can remember one year when it snowed super bad. This is getting off topic, so forgive me. It was a very, very bad snow year. Canyon Hill right there was just an ice rink to get up. And this is when I was driving a Crown Vic. So this was some time ago, man.
Ice skates.
Oh, yeah. Boom. God, I miss those Crown Vics. But so I had to do like 90 miles an hour. Well, the speedometer read 90,
Right.
but I was really doing 30 because the tires were spinning that fast just to get up the hill.
Right.
And we get there. I roll up, go down this side street, park tactically, get out. You know, you see the footprints and all this stuff, and ends up being here's where the stabbing happened up on this road on Canyon Hill, and then the actual place where the victim was down the street, you know, down kind of more on the way to the hospital, but whoever was driving him had pulled over, and then he actually died on the side of the road.
Oh.
Yeah, another gang related homicide.
Well, you know, and again, off topic really quick, but it reminds me of the stabbing over by the college, where it happened at a house, but we found the guy at the college, and we followed a blood trail for 12 city blocks.
Right.
That was wild.
Yeah, so getting back on track, I mean, there's never just one crime scene. And so like this night tonight, there was the actual shooting scene, which was a dead-end street. Some other houses had been shot at, you know, just kind of in the crossfire. There was the where the car was found that he was transported in. That was a separate crime scene. And then you also had, you know, officers responding to the hospital. And that's where I responded to, was the hospital on this night.
Yeah.
And talked to both Axel obviously Jose was deceased by the time I got there, and no one knew where this guy was at all.
Yeah. They're pretty good at disappearing.
Oh yeah, super. Just for a little bit.
For a little bit.
Because they're kind of stupid.
The law wins, bro.
Yeah, every time. The way these guys got caught was actually pretty freaking awesome. Social media, man, it'll get you every time. This guy posted a Snapchat video of himself wearing the same clothes, rapping to some Northside gangster music.
Good.
Telling, pretty much disrespecting Jose Hernandez's set, who was a Sereno type, and it was gold.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is easy. Open shut case. Like, what?
So, he's tried as an adult, found guilty on all 4 counts. And then on March 21st, he got sentenced 32 years fixed, and then life indeterminate. So his other charges, he'll run them concurrently. Yeah. So he got more than 32 years, but so 32 years fixed and then life indeterminate. Talk about what that means. So, why isn't it just one number?
Well, I mean, there's different lengths for the different counts and crimes and things like that. Right. So everyone carries their own like fixed sentence, so to speak, or like a mandatory minimum-ish, which we could talk about mandatory minimums too. Those are interesting. And so that's kind of how all the numbers and length of time come into play is, it's not all just the same, for the first degree murder.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's great. That's actually a solid case,
Yeah.
And in months leading up to this, I can tell you firsthand, man, the judge that was monitoring this kid and kept letting him out and kept doing this, like myself and other officers in the unit, and I believe other officers in other agencies that worked in Kenny County were just like, you have got to do something about this kid.
The juvenile justice
yes.
judge, yeah.
Yeah, the juvenile justice judge, Onabosi.
Yeah.
It was like, something's got to happen.
Yeah.
And, and it was repeated talks with the probation office, like this guy, this person, this juvenile, is clearly taking advantage of the system.
Right.
And he knows it. He's laughing in your face about it.
And hurting the community.
Right. And yeah, this is a case where it's specific ill intent to just take advantage of every situation that this kid was given. Ethan Almaraz could have been a kid that could have changed his life at any point on this timeline.
Yeah. I could have decided not to shoot up a house.
Right.
Could have decided not to go to a gas station and rob it. Definitely. So I do want to point out really quick. So when he was sentenced, I have some comments from Judge Thomas Whitney. So the first thing he told Almaraz was, your utter lack of remorse for killing Jose was chilling. So, I mean, that just goes to show what you were just talking about.
Yeah.
But this is what I want to point out, okay? So, quote, today, justice has prevailed in sentencing of Mr. Almaraz. Throughout his juvenile life, Mr. Almaraz has been the beneficiary of judicial discretion that allowed him to continue to threaten and harm our community, ultimately leading to the tragic murder of an innocent life and the destruction of multiple families. I want to personally thank our Caldwell Police Detectives, the Prosecuting Attorney's Office, and the Honorable Judge Whitney. Judge Whitney, thank you for giving the voiceless a voice, the hopeless a hope, and for applying the scales of justice fairly with the community at the forefront. And that was a quote from the current Chief Rex Ingram.
Wow.
So right there, beneficiary of judicial discretion that allowed him to continue to threaten and harm the community. So it doesn't have to be like this.
No, it doesn't.
It could have been, I mean, we can't rely on him to change, but this is why there's a justice system in place, right? Why wasn't this person held accountable? I think that's something to ponder.
Right.
Next thing we have to talk about, the Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, the Heroes.
The Heroes.
Yeah,
the Covenant school shooting. Maniac who killed 6 total.
Yes, 6. 3 teachers and 3 children.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna bring you guys back over here. So, do you want to give them a little bit of a background?
Yeah. So this actually, the shooting occurred on March 27th, and the heroes that you're about to see in this video are phenomenal police officers. Just people that I would want protecting me, going to a call like this. Like, they went in, they handled business, and that's going to be Officer Rex Engelberg, who's a 4-year veteran, and then Officer Michael, Colazzo, a 9-year veteran. You know,
not very long.
No. And so these guys respond to this 911 call for shots being fired in the building around 10:13 in the morning. You'll see in the video, officers rushed to this school, the Covenant Church or / school, and immediately took action.
Yeah, and they rushed, but they were so calculated in their rush.
Yes, yeah.
So some of the things that I'll hit on really quick is after the Texas school shooting.
Oh yeah. Which was horrible.
Horrible. I'm sure you remember. We immediately got active shooter training.
Yes.
No, we're not going to sit here, take phone calls. We're going in there, and we're going to kill the bad guy.
Yeah.
If you can't come to a peaceful resolution, which
it's called running towards the sound of gunshots.
Yes, and that's exactly what these amazing officers did. So let's start off with really quick. So in the beginning of the video, you'll see them kind of like slow clear. And I've actually seen a lot of comments that was like, well, why aren't they just running? Actually, in the video, you can not hear any gunshots when they're first in there. So the training is, let's start where we're at, right?
Yep.
We're going to start not slow clearing. It's a very quick, you go in, you clear, you look for people, you look for, unfortunately, bodies, signs, whatever. And then they heard the shots, and then they just started running.
Yeah, that's the way to respond.
That's exactly it. Yep. So let's take a peek.
First floor, main lobby. I'm making entry on the front side. I got a civilian that's putting me in here.
Yeah. Into my window, they were upstairs. Hey. Give me 3. Let's get 3. All the way down this hall. They said it's Fellowship Hall. The end of this hall is Fellowship Hall. They just said they heard gunshots down there, and then upstairs are a bunch of kids. Let's go. I need 3. One more. Let's go. Metro Police! Open door! On me! We don't know where he is! Metro Police! Open door! Bathroom, small bathroom. Clear. Next, let's go. Door, with me. Hold the door. Next. Yes. Open it, I got it. Bathroom.
go. Just move right. Cover left. Cover left. Take this with me. Take this. No, that's locked. Take this door. Take this door. Take it. I think it's upstairs. It sounds like it's upstairs. Push an LPV up. Push an LPV up. Reloading.
Phenomenal, honestly. And as you can see in that video, they're running over dead bodies.
Yeah.
So you have to imagine, you know, I don't know if that one specifically was a child or an adult, but nonetheless, it's all really crappy. But you have one mission, and it's to save everyone that you possibly can.
Right.
And they did exactly that.
Yep.
So, great job to those guys.
Yeah. Definitely. I hope, and I'm sure other agencies have already debriefed this video,
Oh, yeah.
you know, on their
Over
own
and
and
over
said,
again.
this is what it looks like.
Yeah. You know, all that training that we just pushed out, this is it in real life.
Right.
And you know what? Hopefully there's a little bit of deterrence in these psychopaths that want to go shoot up schools.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because law enforcement time or response is quicker. There's no waiting in hallways to, you know, formulate a plan.
Right.
The plan is to eliminate the threat.
Yes.
Any means necessary.
Yep.
So, and they did exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Well, and it was
job.
great too because I mean, you could see the shooter, you know, on that second floor. You know, it appeared though as that they were shooting outside of the second story.
Yeah.
You know, which prevents more issues. You know, let's say these guys weren't as quick to get up there,
And they're hanging out by their cars or something.
right.
I mean, I don't know exactly where that window was in relation to, you know, cars.
Yeah.
But I imagine there's a lot of cop cars all around the perimeter of the school.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, I can recall, you know, in the active shooters situations that I've had, you know, I'm not parking my car 4 blocks away or
No.
2 blocks away. Like you're on the grass
Mhm.
essentially.
Yep.
You know, getting your weapons, getting your tools, and if that person, and that was always my worst fear
Mhm.
is if someone has an Overwatch on me and I'm unable or late to the game as far as, you know, where I was parked at,
Yeah.
you know, deploying my equipment, you know, quickly.
Yeah.
I could easily, you know, myself, you, anybody that we worked with could easily be a target.
Oh,
you know?
absolutely.
And that was a textbook situation where I'm like, this is why the first guy, second guy, third guy, like it's get in there, go find them.
Yeah.
You know,
And relay what you got too. I mean,
Right.
let those other officers that are showing up, let them know where you're at. But I just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'm speechless.
I mean, I could go on all night and just say how great
Because I mean, we
this was.
trained this kind of stuff for hours on end,
Yeah.
right? And then it's paying off.
Yeah.
This is why we can't defund the police.
Exactly.
Because you want good response times, you want good training, you want, you know, good equipment, you want this kind of stuff. Pour more money into the departments.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I can remember one of the active shooter situations that I went to. It was at a retirement facility.
Mhm.
it wasn't like an assisted living place. It was like, you know, in old, like a
Like an
retirement
apartment
home,
complex
like
kind
an
of thing
apartment complex.
for older people.
Yeah, and so, you know, I remember specifically like shooting. There was a shooting call that popped up on the board or something like that, and dispatch immediately shooting just occurred or shooting occurring at, you know, whatever address. And I was like, holy cow! Like when you know, like it's the real deal, like you just feel it. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, okay, this is real.
Yeah. Yeah. Your stomach goes down to your ass and
Yeah.
and you buckle up.
Right. And it's like, okay, cool.
There we go.
This is what we're going to do.
Mhm.
So, you know, and I responded from like the police department, and this place was, I don't know, maybe like mile and a half away.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little distance to cover.
Yeah.
And so it was that same thing. Like as soon as we're there, hop out, grab your equipment, and in the door. One of the guys I worked with, he had beat me there by, I don't know, maybe like 45 seconds or so. It felt like longer. He went in there, you know, it was like immediately we walk in to the front door of this retirement community, and it immediately, so I'll describe it to you real quick. So you walk in the front door, it's got those big metal doors with the window, see-through window, and it immediately opens up into a hallway left, a hallway right with rooms, a large like foyer in the middle, like a commons area, and then it's like open up top because of the second story. So I saw my buddy on the first story with one dead body. This person was obviously deceased, older female.
Yeah.
You know, very evident. And it was like, okay, like where's the shooter?
Yeah.
You know, and then as more people started funneling in, you know, there was some lack of communication. I'll be real with you. And in this situation, you know, that was easily preventable just by slowing down and, you know, remembering your tactical breathing,
Right.
You know, because communication is extremely important in this situation,
especially when you're on a hectic scene like that. It's not where you guys stack up in a hallway and your team is right there. No, your team is coming
like you're
seconds, minutes apart, like, and you need that communication because you end up getting split teams.
Yep.
That's
I
just what
remember
happens.
where it was, there was a couple people clearing on the bottom floor. I went upstairs and it was like, I think I was second or third. I believe I was third at that point. And I had a trainee. I was training someone. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to worry about this guy and me and the bad guy. Like,
and the bad guy.
like this is easy.
It's fine.
I totally train for this all the time.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we went upstairs and it was, you know, we didn't hear no shots were fired, you know, that we heard of. There wasn't anything to run to. And so we start clearing, and it was like a very fast clear. And then we immediately found suspect dead, you know, gunshot wound to the head and blood everywhere, you know. And it was one of those things. It's like, okay, you know, they teach you in police work, everything is +1, right? So if there's one, there's two, right? And it was that at that point, like, is this the only person? Is there more? Like, where are we at in this whole thing?
Right.
And so, you know, other guys cleared and all that stuff. And it was, you know, clearing the hallways and doing, still slowing it down to a point to where you could operate safely, but and still be efficient,
right?
You know, and that was crazy, man. Like that was a situation. I'm like, you know, wow.
Yeah. Well, and like that homicide that we were on, like that scene was too quick. You know what I mean? For in my opinion, but nonetheless, bad guy got caught, and so. Thank you guys again for tuning in to Operation Despot episode 5.
Yeah.
I can't believe we've made it.
We've done it.
We've done it. So this will probably be our last episode. No, I'm just kidding. God, I feel like this was a good one.
Like and subscribe. Throw
Definitely
some
do that.
comments down there. And we'll see you next week.
Yep. See you guys.